Okay, so this video picks up right where the previous one left off. I'm going to use the next few minutes to discuss some of the technical implementation aspects of this. If you've watched the previous videos, you've seen how these dynamic actions work. Now, couple of interesting things to notice. First of all, we're using jQuery. So Google has a hosted version of jQuery for both the regular jQuery and the UI jQuery. Rather than keep those as static resources and have to carry that from environment to environment, and also provide another cache hit, essentially, if you want to look at it that way, we can just use the hosted versions right on Google. It makes it much easier to integrate into our different Visualforce pages. Something else to notice, this may be a bug in Salesforce. I'm not exactly sure because I don't think you should be able to do this, but you can. We're using a page block section to define the left half from the right half of our page block. Now that's all well and good, not an issue. However, what's interesting is that we can embed another page block section within that first page block section. And so this contact details subsection right here is actually a page block section within another page block section. Now again, I'm not sure whether that's by design or whether that's just a bug, but it's kind of convenient that we can actually do that. Something else is that we're using a rendered attribute here, focused around whether our contact ID has been selected or not. So that the contact details section is only going to display, and if I pull up a fresh view of this page, you can see that the contact details is not there until we go ahead and we click on one of these options. Our checkboxes. So these checkboxes are the standard Salesforce checkboxes that you would normally see on a display page. And what we've done is we've just put two versions. We put one version for checked that's rendered when we actually have a contact ID and it happens to be the same as the row for that particular contact. And the unchecked version is displayed when it's not a match. So in this case, we've got Avi. Avi has a contact ID. As this thing is iterating through the different rows, we go ahead and we put up a checkbox only for the row that matches Avi's contact ID. Something else that's interesting. Now, we've had to use action function instead of using what I would normally do as an action support call. So one of the nice things about action support is you can add it to just about any tag. So for example, I could put it onto this onto the output field, or I could put it onto the apex column for each of these. And I could say when you click, so for an event equals on click for that particular column, go ahead and do a server-side refresh. Now, the problem comes into play when you try to mix that with the browser-side JavaScript that's needed in order to do Google Maps. So Google Maps requires that I do all of the JavaScript on click, but also in the browser. If I try to mix the browser on click here with an action support on click, nothing ends up working. And so what I've had to do is I've had to implement an action function tag that takes in a contact ID that we're passing in for that particular row, and it assigns it to our controller property that we've predefined called selected contact ID. Now, up at the top here, I have my standard controller set up to be account, and my extensions is a custom controller extension that we've defined with a couple of these properties. So selected contact ID is one of those properties. Down here, selected contact is actually a contact object that's populated when our action function action is executed. Another interesting thing, we've put this little loading icon up here and embedded it right into the header of our page table. I think that's a convenient place to put it. So we've defined our action facet for the first column to contain an action status tag with our loading image. That largely concludes our discussion about how to create dual column related lists and embed Google Maps with on-click events.